What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another comic haul. And today I feel like I got a lot of really nice stuff to show for once, instead of just a bunch of cheap dollar books and run fillers, which that I've had several videos of that I was going to upload, but as I was editing them, I was like, this is not interesting. It's just a whole bunch of run fillers of not super popular titles and stuff that I like. I like a lot of the Valiant stuff, and I collect a lot of that, and just, you know, various run fillers, like some of the milestone stuff like Hardware and Justice Society things and all that. So I didn't upload those videos because I just felt like they weren't that interesting. But today I feel like I have a lot of really nice stuff. First off, I am going to start off with two toys here just to show off really quickly. So I pre-ordered this Transformers Cosmos from the Legacy Wave, or Legacy United, whatever you call it. I'm not a Transformers expert. Don't know anything about Cosmos. I was looking through pre-orders a month or two back for Transformers, and I saw... Or no, actually, that's not even how I found him. I found him by coincidence. I was looking for Transformers that transformed into things that were unique, because you know most Transformers just transform into cars or planes or whatever, and I saw this guy transformed into a UFO, and I thought that was so cool. So I looked him up to see if there was a figure, and it happened to be that there was a figure coming out in February. At least I think this was that case of it being a pre-order and not it being on backstock. I believe this is new. I saw that was coming out, so I pre-ordered it. And it showed up on my door a few days ago, out of nowhere, kind of. I honestly would not have even known it had shipped if I hadn't happened to randomly check Entertainment Earth, which is where I pre-ordered it from. So that was cool. Pretty fast shipping there. Very happy to have him. I'll take him out at some point. He looks so cool in the box, though. And then Target and a lot of other... I've seen a lot of other stores like Walmart have some pretty good clearances to start off the year, but Target has had some really good ones. I got the TMNT Toilet Taxi reissue with the Donatello. This was on clearance for $12. It wasn't super expensive to begin with. It was only 20 bucks, but holy crap, for $12, I mean, I almost bought two. And they've been clearancing a lot of stuff. Like they had the original Sketch Turtles, I think it was, or something like that, that were clearance down to $7. I didn't get to have any of them. If you get all four of them, they connect together to make a cool scene. My Target didn't have any of them. They were clearancing a lot of toys. There were McFarlane DC figs that were clearanced. They were clearancing some video games really crazy, like down to $8 and stuff. And some good ones too, like the Resident Evil 4 remaster or remake. The PS5 version, $8. I almost bought it, but I was like, I'm probably not going to actually play this. I just want it because of the discount. So Target, go check your Targets if you're a video game fan or an action figure fan, because the discounts have been really good. And I will say, not all the discounts are always posted. This wasn't posted, but I either saw a video or remembered being in there before and seeing that these were on clearance. And so I decided to go scan it, and sure enough, it was on clearance for $12. So definitely go scan stuff. There was an Orion figure I also wanted. It didn't say that it was on clearance, and I think it might be a newer figure, so it probably wasn't, but I should have scanned it just to check. So yeah, go check out your Targets, go scan stuff that you want, because it might be on clearance. Okay, it's going to look a little awkward here for a minute just because I put too many books on the stand. A friend of mine was doing a claim sale on Whatnot to get some money to go to MegaCon, and so I went a little ham on his claim sale because he had a lot of good stuff for really cheap. Like these Simpsons books, these go all day for $8, $10, sometimes even more. Got these for $3 a piece. So we have Simpsons Comics number 3, number 5, which this one says it has a trading card inside. I didn't check to see if it's still there. There's a Simpsons comic that has a trading card that's a parody of the Billy Ripken, I'm not going to, F-U-C-K face trading card. If you know, you know. But there's a parody of that in one of these comics, and that card alone, if you get it graded, that sucker's like hundreds of dollars, which I thought was nuts. Issue 8, because I know someone that had one, and they were telling me about it because I'm a Simpsons fan, and I didn't know about that, and I looked it up, and yeah, it was 31. There's 36, 37. Let me move the camera now. I got a bunch of these Jen Bartel She-Hulk covers. These are so nice, you know, it's really hard to pass up on them. I've never read this series. At my comic shop, they have a bunch of them, so maybe that's an indicator if it's not a great read, but I really don't care. The covers, oh my gosh. I feel like most of the good comic book artists today, that at least that I like, are females, and in some cases also foreign. There's a lot of foreign ones that I really enjoy, which we'll talk about a little more because I have some of their art. That's just me though, because it's unique and it's different. There's issue 6, there's 7, there's 8, there's 10, 14, I think a couple of these may be keys. 12, that's a great one. Then we got some Ghost Spider, that's issue 3, Legacy 53. Come on. And then there's issue 2. I like the Marvel Knights, Daredevil stuff. I like the Marvel Knights stuff, period, but I like the Daredevil stuff, and so I picked this up. It was a cool little Wolverine cover. I did not pay $10 for it. And trying to find, like, a cool David Mack cover. I mean, they're all cool, but I might be going to AwesomeCon in April, and David Mack is going to be there, and, you know, he's a great artist, so that'd be cool to have one of his books to get signed. I did try bidding on the first cover appearance of Echo, but it went too much. It went for more than I felt comfortable paying for that book, because I'm not, like, you know, some huge Daredevil fan. Angela and Glory, #1, does have some spine ticks, but I've never seen this book before. I thought it was cool. Oh, I didn't even show that. I didn't grab it, but I actually got a Angela figure from the original Spawn toy line. It was a steal of a deal. Some guy was trying to clearance out his remaining action figures that he had, which it was like mostly a bunch of like the starting lineup baseball and football figures. He had a couple like comic ones. He had that Angela there, $4 free shipping. I'd take that all day. So I have that now, which is pretty cool. I like the Angela character. And then, yeah, my friend, dude, he had so much older Spectacular Spider-Man. He actually had Bronze Age Amazing Spider-Man for like $2 or $3. He's like, I'm just not comfortable selling it for more because of the condition of it, which I felt like it was in the condition it would typically be for a book from the 70s. I didn't pick it up, somebody else did. I was trying to tell him, like, you know, you should charge a little more for that, but no, he was cool with what it was, so hey, you know, somebody got a great deal. They were really cool books. And I got a really cool book from him for a great deal as well, because he wasn't happy with the condition of it, but the condition's really not that bad. Spectacular Spider-Man 113. We'll talk about that when we get to it. 118. I love this era of Spectacular Spider-Man. I love anything Spectacular Spider-Man under 100 as well, which, I mean, this is a little over 100, but, you know, the black suit stuff's good. 102. 108. These are newsstands, too, and they're pretty nice. 96. Yeah, that's a great cover. This was the book that I was talking about. Amazing Spider-Man 347. You know, this is a classic cover. He put it up for cheap. It was like $5, something like that. As he wasn't happy with the condition of it. I mean, I think in this condition it's probably still like a $20 book. I'll show you guys. You know, it does have some spine wear, which is really not too terrible looking. I think the biggest thing is this little ding down here in terms of just, you know, appearance. Maybe a little dirty there. I'm not sure if a clean would help, but I think it's a great copy for $5, and I'm very happy with this copy because it's not a book that I particularly want to pay a lot for, and this has only risen up in price. You know, it's a great cover, but it's not a major key, so I'm very happy with this copy, and this will probably be my copy for a long time. We got Punisher War Journal number 7. This is another great book, crossing over with Wolverine. It's part 2 of that. I used to have part 1, I think. Someone found it for me at an antique store, and it just was like super underpriced. It was that great, you know, Wolverine cover, if you know what I'm talking about, which is, you know, it was like $2 or something, which it's well over a $2 book. But yeah, that was cool. I wish I still had that. This is another book that I've seen go for a little more than what I paid. Claws, 1 of 3. Wolverine and the Black Cat, which is a weird team-up. Not a big fan of how Wolverine's drawn there, but I do like Black Cat. And it does have a little spine crease right there, but otherwise not bad, especially being that it's an all-white book. You know, a lot of times they get dirty, but it's fairly clean on the whites. We got Punisher Summer Special number 2. I love these specials. Punisher number 11 from Marvel Knights. Always heard good things about the Marvel Knights Punishers stuff, so figured I'd pick some up. Got TMNT 143, just filling out some IDW holes there, because I read it on and off over the years. 142. Here's an old spectacular, number 42. A little beat up, but it is a earlier Spectacular Spider-Man, and it is a newsstand from 80. It's a great cover, too. Thor 304. I don't collect a lot of Thor because I don't find Thor of this era, and this is my favorite era of Thor to collect. Like, I think this is also 1980. I like that 80s Thor and earlier, but I don't really find it anymore. I used to. So I don't pick up a lot of Thor. TMNT Adventures number 2. This is a retailer incentive. I can't remember what the ratio is on that. Honestly, I really love the current TMNT IDW series, like the main one. But I think the Saturday Morning Adventures one is my favorite just because I love the cartoon so much. So I pick up that anytime I find it. I had never seen or heard of these before. They do have a little bit of damage, but they're like graphic novel size. She-Hulk Ceremony, it's part 1. And then I have part 2 as well. And you can... It's actually faded off on the side of this one. But I'll show you on the second one. And that... Yeah, it does have some damage, but I've never seen these, so I'm cool with it. You can see on the side there, it's thicker. So, yeah, I'm okay with that. Supergirl number 8. Got a Power Girl appearance. Not the cleanest copy, a lot of it is the bag. But it's all good. Cool to have. This is a cover that I did think about if I take with me. Actually, this might not be a David Mack, actually. Because I don't see his signature on there. Does not look like Mack. Unless, maybe it is. I was going to say that this would be one that I would like to get signed by David Mack, but I don't know. This is a David Mack cover. It looks like his style a little bit, but not like the others. I can't tell if that's his signature, and there's something else in the bag here. Oh, yeah. I didn't even remember getting this. Vampirella Shadowhawk, Creatures of the Night, Book 1. I have Book 2 of this. It's kind of weird. Book 2 is trade paperback size. This one's a little thicker, but it's mostly the normal comic book size. So I found that kind of interesting. But yeah, that's a really cool team-up, Shadowhawk and Vampirella. Love the weird team-ups you wouldn't think of. Another one I'm a fan of is the Red Sonja Vampirella meet Betty and Veronica. I would love to find some issues of that. I'll show these last two books I got from my friend real quick. The rest was kind of like run filler stuff. Dark Horse Presents 151. I think this is like somewhat of a significant Hellboy key, so that was cool to get. I'm a big Hellboy fan. I feel like the more and more time goes on, the bigger of a Hellboy fan I get. Because it started out very slowly, and now I'm just like very fully into Hellboy and anything Hellboy universe. I pick it up, and I'm loving it. Everything I read, I always love. So, yeah, I even pick up some of the more obscure Hellboy stuff, like Sir Edward Grey and all that, which is a current ongoing series right now. Well, it's a mini-series that I really enjoy, but I think not a lot of people are picking it up. And then this was so cool. I am a really big fan of the old Lucha Libre movies, where they had the big lucha stars star in them, like Blue Demon and El Santo and guys like that. So I thought this was so cool. Hellboy versus Lobster Johnson, The Ring of Death, and it's just like one of those old posters, which, that was so cool. One of the coolest covers I think I have in my collection now. Supergirl number 39 from the New 52. The more I look at this cover, the more I'm not a big fan of it, but there's not too many Supergirl Harley covers, and those are two of my favorite DC ladies. I think the biggest thing I'm not a fan of is just how Harley is drawn. Her face just looks really weird. It doesn't look like Harley. Then we also have Supergirl number 18. I swore that I had this book, but I'm not seeing it when I look it up into my comic database I use. And then Supergirl number 1. This is a variant. I actually just noticed that's Power Girl down there. I never saw that before. But yeah, number 1 from the 2005 Jeff Loeb run. I'm not sure who does this variant cover. And then I found some Archie Turtles, which is always fun to find. Not super easy to find. I did go and I saw a few people that had like stacks of them, but it's just too much to buy a lot of that at once, and people really like to upcharge for these. But number 57 is apparently part 3 of Terracide. I don't know what that is. They're actually releasing a TMNT Adventures Omnibus in April, like the very end of April, which I haven't decided if I want to pre-order it or if I want to just see if somebody will get it for me for my birthday, because my birthday is in March, which obviously would just be a pre-order. But that's something that I really want, because I love the Archie TMNT Adventures. There's just so many cool characters in there, and I love the figures that they're coming out. Well, NECA is coming out with around this comic series, so I would really love to, have something that I could read all of them in one spot. And then here's another Saturday Morning Adventures. This is actually a store exclusive, Cameron Johnson. I'm not familiar with him, but it's TMNT Usagi, and I love when TMNT and Usagi cross over. And it's actually signed, and he drew a little Usagi there. So I thought that was cool. I love when artists remark things, just like most people, even if it is a little one. And I think that's the same thing he drew down there as well, pretty much. And then, I don't know if I've ever... I don't want to say that I've never seen any of the 90s Mirage Turtles, but I can't particularly recall having seen any. I know this is the first copy I've ever owned of any of the 90s Mirage Turtles, because the 90s Mirage Turtles, I think, had like the lowest print run of any of them. So, I know that I've never had one before, but I don't know that I've never seen them. But it's really cool to have. Spider-Gwen the Ghost Spider number 1. This is from the current series, which I'm trying to get caught up on. I have most of the issues. It's not super far in. I think it's only on like issue 8 or something. I think I'm just missing like 3 to 4 issues. So I have like half missing, half pretty much. And I think I have another issue or two in here somewhere. Great Mark Brooks covers. Spider-Gwen Shadow Clones #2 variant. Can't recall who does this one. And then this was a little freebie just because I bought a good bit of stuff from him. A friend of mine as well that I bought this from. Star Wars Dark Times #1. He's a big Star Wars fan like me. We're always talking about the novels. We both love the books. So he threw this to me, told me it was a really good read. I'm not familiar with it, so I'll have to check it out. And, you know, I'm always happy to get Star Wars Dark Horse stuff, especially for free. So I very much appreciate that. And then this probably be the biggest book of all in this haul. So glad to have this back in my collection. I've been missing it dearly. Moon Knight #1. This was one of the first bigger keys I bought, but at the time I bought it, it wasn't a big key. I bought this when I first started getting back into collecting around 2018, maybe 2019. I'm thinking more like 2018 or so, possibly 2017, somewhere around there. I was watching comic YouTube videos at the time, and I was watching ones about cheap keys that might go up in the future, you know, stuff like that, because I was kind of big into the speculating thing. Not that I was buying to sell them, but I thought the idea of it's cool, like an investment, you know? Like back in the 90s, you know, when that X-Men #1 came out and people thought that was going to be an investment. But yeah, so I went to my comic shop because this was on the video. I went to my comic shop and sure enough it was sitting in the bin for $10, which even at the time might have been a little much. I don't know, it was probably around a good spot for that. And so I picked it up. I didn't know a ton about Moon Knight at the time. Pretty much how everyone described me to him was kind of like the Marvel version of Batman, which I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. But I held on to it for several years, probably a year or two ago, I think maybe 2 years now. I auctioned it off on eBay, and it ended up selling for $60, I think, somewhere around there. So I obviously made money on it. And then the last year or two is when I started getting into Moon Knight, and I was like, oh man, I wish I didn't sell that book. Because like I said, I really wasn't into it before, but lately I'd been like, I really want my Moon Knight #1 back, but I don't want to pay, you know, whatever it's going for now. And my friend had it, and he had just gotten it in. He hadn't even put it in his bin, his buy it now, and he was like $30, and I was like, yeah, deal, because I'm still technically made money on that first one, even buying this copy back. So I don't know if they've gone down, if that's just, you know, if it was a deal he was giving me on it there, or I don't know what the case was. Either way, I'm happy. I'm so glad this is back in my collection. I'm so glad I can just sit there and stare at this cover again. And then he had a couple other Mark Spector Moon Knight keys that I needed. I don't remember exactly what they are. So this is issue 37. I think this is something to do with Moon Knight's brother. And then #4, I think this might be something to do with a sidekick of Moon Knight who later becomes a villain. I'm just going to leave that on there. I will take this one off since you can't see. And then another thing I got from him, and I didn't even know this existed. So this is from the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives. The premise of this series is basically back in the day when Jason Todd was killed off by fan vote. It was what if the fan vote went the other way, which DC already had that story planned for If He Lived. So this is basically what if he lived. And this is a Mike Mignola cover of it, which I did not know existed, of issue 1. And I'm a big Mike Mignola fan, like I said, so I picked it up, even if it's not a series that was particularly interesting to me. It's pretty cool to see a Mike Mignola Batman cover, so I thought that was really awesome. And then another freebie he threw me was this TMNT Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution. This is cover C of this. I'm not big into the Last Ronin stuff. I will say I do regret selling my Last Ronin #1. I should have held on to it, but like I said, I'm not big into the Last Ronin thing. I think it is a cool concept, but I prefer just, you know, the current continuity turtles and the other happier stuff. And yeah, here's Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider number 2. And then I got this from the former Wink Inc. exec collects. I'm not sure if he still does YouTube videos or not, to be honest with you. A lot of people in the comic book community that I knew years ago do not do videos anymore, or have just disappeared, but he's still around on Whatnot at least, and I got this from him, Gwen Stacy number 1. It's a J. Scott Campbell, I believe, variant. I thought that was very pretty, and he also threw in an Umbrella Academy and Hotel Oblivion number 1, because he said he had a bunch of them, which is really cool. Umbrella Academy is another one that I really like the art style of, because it reminds me of Mignola. And same thing with Black Hammer. That's another one that every time I see Black Hammer, at first I'm like, is that a Hellboy book? Because the art style is so similar. So the rest of this stack here is a bunch of like modern variants. I played some mystery games, which I don't usually do, but these 2 mystery games I was in had a bunch of stuff that I really wanted. So there was two different ways to play on it. The first mystery game, it was a book was put up for auction, you bid on that book, and if you won that auction, you also got a pull out of a short box. You gave a number, pulled the book out that corresponded to that number. And there were some bigger prizes, like the one I really wanted was a David Nakayama connecting cover of the X-Men beach scene from it was like an update of that classic Jim Lee art print, or whatever it was. And then the other game was just your classic, wheel spin. You win the auction, you get to spin the wheel, and you get whatever it lands on. I didn't get that David Nakayama, unfortunately. Did get a bunch of other stuff. Did get what they call a goddess bag, which is a bunch of covers with sexy ladies on them that usually are worth a little bit more. This is probably maybe not even half of what I actually got from it, but the other stuff I am not keeping. I'm saving it for a big raid train that I'm doing on Whatnot in March. And I want to have lots of good books for that, so I'm saving those for that, and plus it's just, I don't need them. Anyway, starting off here, we got X-Men 97 number 1. This is a Tyler Kirkham variant. Pretty much all of these are like store exclusives as well. This is obviously an homage to that Wolverine meme from the original animated series where he's holding the photograph laying in bed. I have a Rogue one as well to go with this. This is an Amazing Spider-Man book. This is a Lyrics variant. I'm a big fan of Lyrics. I really like her art. She was actually doing a live Whatnot show from MegaCon, but I joined near the end, and they stopped running auctions by that point because they were just so backed up with stuff, and so I couldn't get in, but I really wanted to get her Ghost Spider Virgin variant that she did and have her sign that, but I asked my friend who was at MegaCon if he would be able to do that for me, and he said he'd try, but I don't think he was able to, so it is what it is. I'm sure she'll do lots of other cons in the future. Buddy of mine did actually manage to get like 3 different things from her, though, and he sent me pictures of that, and it was pretty cool. This is an old Scotty Young, Spider-Man and the X-Men number 1. These older Scotty Youngs have a little bit more value than his newer ones, just because I think there's a little bit less of a print run, possibly. Not super sure on that, but and I think the popularity wasn't quite there yet, so he didn't do a ton of these back then. But now it feels like, every significant book is a Scotty Young variant, which isn't a bad thing. I think his art's cool. But yeah, I thought this was cool. And I was kind of looking back at some of my older videos, and I realized that I've had quite a few Scotties over the years. And I'm not really sure what happened to them. I guess I sold them off. But I do want to start hanging on to them. I do know I have another one. It's a Spider-Verse one that Ghost Spider's on. And then, thought it was fitting, I got this. This is another, or actually no, this is an Avengers book. It's like Avengers No Surrender. And, of course, it's an homage to that Eric Larson cover, which I just showed you earlier. And this one actually would be worth more than that one, just because of condition. But really, really cool cover. Darth Vader number 2. This is actually a little bit of a significant key. It is the first mention of Dr. Aphra. I think it might be like a $10 book around there, so it does have a little bit of value, and I'm a big Vader fan, so I'll always keep that. Harley Quinn number 31, I believe this is a Nathan Zerdy variant. I'll be honest with you, I am not a big Nathan Zerdy fan. I do like some of his covers, but a lot of them I'm not a fan of. I don't like that he's always putting tattoos on women, and I also feel like some of the way he draws characters makes them look a little underage. So I feel like that's a little weird too, especially when they're in like a provocative pose or something, or not a provocative pose, but you know, they're drawn to kind of attract to the male buyer, you know what I'm saying. But this one's alright. I'm hanging on to this one. There was a Poison Ivy one I got, though, that I'm not hanging on to. Harley Quinn number 40, this is a variant. Not sure who did this one. It might be a Frank Cho. I see Cho down there. But I thought it was a fun one. Harley looks very muscular in this. Also, looks like it says Rich. I don't think that would be Sabine Rich, though. It doesn't look like her work there. This is my first Zenescope book. This might be the first Zenescope book I've ever had, even one that I didn't keep. I am keeping this one, Red Agent number 5. It's cover C. No clue what it's about. Great cover. Zenescope's actually coming to a con near me, which is like a medium-sized con. They've been coming to even some of the smaller cons around me. So I'll have to check out what all they have. Red Sonja, Death and the Devil number 2. I really liked this variant. I had issue 1 as well, another variant, but I didn't decide to keep that one. I'm not sure what this is. It's a Ghost Spider foil. The bag is super scratched up, as you can see, which sucks on a foil because you can really see it more. I mean, obviously, it's going to get a new bag and board. It's Amazing Spider-Man 29. So yeah, I won that in the Goddess bag. Amazing Spider-Man 37 variant. It's another Nathan Zerdy of Ghost Spider. Wolverine 49, David Nakayama variant of X-23. X-23 is becoming another one of my favorite Marvel ladies. Not really sure why. I just think I guess I just think a female version of Wolverine's cool. Here's an older one, Sensational She-Hulk number 12. This was one that I had asked the people about, that I'd bought this from the mystery game before in a show that wasn't a mystery game, but they didn't have anything else I wanted at the time. So they still had it in the mystery game, and it was one of the you-pick kind of ones where, you know, they put the book up for auction and you could choose to bid on it, and you would get that book and a pool from the box. And so I asked them about it. They said they still had it. So they ran that one for the auction, and then I got that and the pool from the box. So that was cool. This is Spider-Gwen Smash number 1. Great David Nakayama Virgin variant. X-Men number 11, Sabine Rich variant. I'm going to be honest, I didn't really know who Sabine Rich was until this show, but I'm a very big fan now. I love watercolor stuff because it's so different than what everybody else does. That's why I like Peach Momoko as well. So yeah, I love this kind of stuff, and that's why I said earlier that I like a lot of the female artists these days, and the foreign ones too, because Sabine Rich is French and Peach Momoko is Japanese. Another great David Nakayama. I think this is Rogan Gambit number 2. Yeah. Supergirl 27. Not sure who did that variant. And then last book here, it is the X-Men 97 number 2. It's Rogue doing the meme thing. A little glare on that. So yeah, we'll end on that. I hope you all enjoyed. A lot of, like I said, I thought I'd make this video because I had a lot of cool books to show off instead of just a bunch of run fillers. So I hope you all enjoyed this one. If you did, press that like button, hit that subscribe. Leave your comments below. Tell me what your favorite book was. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.